might just happen that the college that you had, the MBA institute that you had completed your MBA from has given all the skill sets and you're able to use it. Great, good for you. You're going to get an amazing job. But you're going to be, if you are thinking that just the degree is going to help you, it will not. It might help you for a few years. After that, you will have to realize that you're on your own. Content is kind of the backbone of everything in marketing. So if you want to make an analogy, it's kind of the central spoke in the marketing.
True.
Right? So any channel, if you want, you look at omni-channel marketing, content is at the center of it. But in content marketing, knowledge of all the other disciplines isn't really an add-on. It's a fundamental skill that you require. You grow in your career, you tend to become a holistic marketer. That is the only way you grow. If you stick to your own discipline and not care about learning about other things, you will not end up growing. You will end up growing to a particular stage after which you will find saturation. If you have a product that's being launched, the engineering team or product team have created a product. You simultaneously need the ads team to run ads. You simultaneously need the email team to run emails, a PR to go out, blogs to be created on the website, videos to be created on your YouTube channel or on your landing pages, etc. Even for a content marketer, prioritization becomes important. You cannot be the best at everything.
Hello everyone and welcome to Simplilearn podcast. In this podcast, we will get experienced professionals who will come to us and share their stories and their learnings with us. From content marketers to digital marketing experts, from SEO specialists to data analysts and even data scientists. We want you to get the ins and outs of everything that you want to learn in today's time. And our very first guest today with us is Mr. Kartik. Hi Kartik, welcome to the show.
Thanks Rishabh, thanks for inviting me here.
So Kartik, my first question to you is, how do you define content marketing? Like, why is it not just marketing? Why content marketing?
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny question, right? So because content is kind of the backbone of everything in marketing. So if you want to make an analogy, it's kind of the central spoke in the marketing.
True.
Right? So any channel, if you want, you look at omni-channel marketing, content is at the center of it.
Correct.
Right? No channel kind of functions without content. And by content, I don't mean just text content. Today, content is available in so many forms and sizes.
Correct.
Video, audio, graphic, small, large.
Podcast being one of the content.
Podcast being one of the content. So it's a very exciting field.
Okay.
And one other thing that I'm kind of excited today is all the technological advancements that are happening in content as such. And if you're really looking at, for example, Gen AI. Generative AI is a big boom to content marketing, which is kind of it's kind of benefited the discipline itself in making it come to the fore.
Okay.
Right? People are now recognizing the value of content,
right?
Because now you can create so much in scale and such quality because of such AI tools, etc. Hence, the value of content marketers is also increasing today. And coming back to your questions about definition of content marketing, it's a very versatile and kind of and content marketing is a field kind of like a chameleon, right?
Okay.
So depending on what organizations are, depending on what kind of problem statements they have, the content marketer really changes their face. They have to put on every new hat every day.
Okay.
Right? Whether it be a videographer or it's a content writer,
correct,
or it's an automation expert or an email automation expert, etc. Everywhere content is required. And you can find yourself placed in all of these disciplines depending on what your organization is doing, what you're trying to do for the organization, what are the problem statements that are there. It's a very exciting field, and content marketing morphs every day into what is required by business. That's the most exciting part of content marketing itself.
Nice. So the chameleon analogy that you just mentioned, so it's like someone, and based on culminating all the definitions that you have just put for us, someone who is skilled in understanding what kind of content can work for what kind of audience, and then ensuring that it reaches that right set of audience. And that person is also kind of, it's important for the person to be interested in or maybe skilled in email marketing, automation, and those kinds of things as well, right? Okay. Interestingly, you also mentioned Gen AI, which is obviously something that will come to later in this podcast, so-called AI taking jobs and jobs dying and all of those things. So we want to cover that as well. But so the next thing that I want to understand was, when it comes to marketing, there are multiple disciplines as far as I know. There's SEO, there's social media. And you mentioned content marketing is kind of in the center of it all,
Correct.
Everyone is creating content and you ensure that it reaches the right set of audience. What do you think is the value addition that content marketing does to a business? Because you mentioned, all the organizations out there are focusing on content, text content, video, graphics, images, and all of those things. But eventually, how much addition does content marketing do from a business perspective?
Fair enough. So, I mean, if you look at marketing itself, so like you said, there are plenty of sub functions out there. So now, for you to become any other professional, any other discipline, a knowledge of content or communication strategy or how to write good copy is really going to be an add-on.
Okay.
And that's going to really make you stand out. But in content marketing, knowledge of all the other disciplines isn't really an add-on. It's a fundamental skill that you require.
Okay.
Right? So if you do not understand how email marketing campaign works, you do not understand how an ad strategy works, programmatic on Google, whatever strategies they may be, looking at YouTube, look at SEO, which is today become one of the most fundamental aspects of content marketing, you're not going to be able to stand out in the world of content marketing.
Okay.
And why I'm coming to the segueing into this particular point is that since it's kind of influences all the other disciplines, hence it has a very, very strong and pivotal role in terms of growth in those disciplines as well.
Correct.
So if you do not have the right content in place, your strategies are not going to be giving you the performance or the output that is required. And that directly impacts the business.
And correct me if I'm wrong, if I have understood it correctly. So what you're trying to say is, if your content marketing strategy is running properly and smoothly, the way you intend it to be, all the other functions, either superior function or functions that have slightly lesser impact on the overall business growth, will either grow or will decline based on how your content marketing function as a whole is performing.
Absolutely. So because anybody and everybody who visits your website, because everything is digital today, right?
True.
And how a business communicates is through content.
Okay.
Whether it be visual, text, audio, whatever it is.
Okay.
And if that is not going to be aligned with what your business expectations are, what you're trying to promote, who you're trying to promote with, and how is the messaging going to be like, you're not going to get the people coming to your website, people dropping leads to the website, and hence it kind of extrapolates into business growth or business downfall, so to speak.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So now that we have established what is content marketing, and we have also kind of understood how important content marketing is from a business perspective, what I want to do now is to understand, because in the very first part of our conversation, you mentioned email marketing, automation, SEO, things like that. So for the sake of simplicity because the audience needs to understand content marketing better, what I would want to do is I want to segregate the entire umbrella content marketing term into its various subdivisions. For example, okay, this thing comes under content marketing. This thing comes under content marketing. And obviously there can be individual experts on those sub-functions. But then again, content marketing as an umbrella term is owning up and driving growth from all of these sub-functions.
Absolutely.
Correct. So why don't we start from, kind of naming all these sub-functions? Maybe the first one can be email marketing. So if you can, kind of explain to our viewers, what is email marketing? Why is it important? And if you want to mention some kind of specific skills or tools, someone should need to learn or be an expert in to be quote unquote be called an expert professional in email marketing, what would those be?
Absolutely. So email marketing is perhaps one of the main spokes in the larger customer relationship management or customer relationship marketing wheel, right? So email is one, then you have WhatsApp, then you have app, where the communications that you do on the app, and SMSs and various other platform. All of that together kind of comes up with the integrated customer relationship marketing kind of a channel, where email, typically all the marketing automation tools, while they have email at the center, they're also integrated with all these channels.
Okay.
And when I would talk about content marketing in email, it would actually involve all of these channels, and how do you kind of bring a synergy in terms of messaging for all of these.
Okay.
Looking at, for example, starting with segmentation. So you have a database,
right,
which can be available on SMS or WhatsApp or phone or email and so on and so forth.
Okay.
How do you segment them into very clear persona-driven buckets that you can then target to create personalized messages?
Okay.
Right? That's the starting of, say, an email marketing, where to understand in terms of who your audience are. That's the fundamental question, right?
Okay.
Who's your audience? What are they looking for? And what is the product that you have that appeals to them? Right? Understanding this Then after this comes content marketing, in terms of how do you actually create content that actually brings all of these three things together. And then next is the implementation itself, where how do you join all of these channels together so that there's a synergistic and a very streamlined approach to communication that goes out to an individual, where whether no matter where they are in their journey or where they are in terms of their usage, whether they are on the app or on or checking email or on WhatsApp, they get a very common communication, and they get a very journey-driven communication that takes them through the IDA model essentially, right? You have an awareness stage where you're not really aware of what the company is offering, or on the other hand, what is your problem statement itself?
Okay.
What are you looking for? Then you have an interest area where you actually look at, okay, fine, I've identified what my problem is. Now I need to understand how to solve this problem. Then comes the desire. So, okay, I've understood how to solve it. Now I have 3-4 players whom I can help with in terms of whom can help with this particular problem solution. Which do I select? Right? Then comes the action. When, okay, fine, now I've got 5, I've understood the pros and cons of this. It could be a product, it could be a solution, it could be a service, whatever it might be, and I select one. Okay. This entire journey, if you can make them go through this nurturing journey, then you achieve better success. And all of this in the center is content and content marketing. Understanding all of these aspects is very critical to content marketing.
Okay, so what I've understood now is, so content marketing as a whole contains one section of it, namely CRM, which is customer relationship management / marketing.
Yeah.
Within that, there is email marketing, there is app marketing, and then there is WhatsApp message marketing kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So email marketing, WhatsApp marketing, or app marketing, they kind of follow a certain framework, if I may say so. One of the framework is IDA, right? Wherein you're talking about making the customer aware of your product, of your offering, and from there it grows into interest.
I mean, it's a more generic marketing term.
Correct.
But it's applicable in all channels, channel marketing.
So that's a framework that can be applied to multiple sub-functions of content marketing or marketing in general. All right, okay. So now that we have covered email marketing or CRM in general, what would you define as another major sub-function of content marketing? Can we call social media as another major sub-function of content marketing?
Could be. So one larger one. So for example, content marketing and this term called inbound marketing.
Okay.
It's a very synergistic term, right?
Okay.
So inbound marketing, earlier we used to get people, send ads and actually call people and say there was cold calling happening, and so that people can come and know about your content, etc. Right?
Correct.
Then inbound marketing came in with the concept of, hey, we don't need to call and let them know that this is how it is. They need to come to us.
Okay.
Right? How can they come to us? By creating content that appeals to them, that inspires them.
Okay.
Right? That's another major area where content marketing plays a very, very pivotal role. In fact, it plays the major role there.
Okay.
So everything on your website,
okay,
whether it be your landing pages, your resources, namely your blogs or your ebooks or FP, the free practice tests or quizzes and so on, all of them are really tuned towards making inbound marketing work for a company.
Okay.
Where you don't kind of reach out and go to the market and say, hey, here we are, these are the products that we have. You bring them in with content that they like.
Okay.
And when you bring them in, then it gives you an opportunity to nurture them further.
Okay.
Get them to be in your website more longer, read more content about yourself, about your company, about what they want to learn, etc. They probably are interested in an ebook. They download an ebook. They suddenly become a user for us to kind of nurture through email marketing or the CRM marketing, right?
Okay.
So that's another very, very strong area where content marketing really rules the roost. Because that's where your audience really comes in, and if they come in on their own, the probability of them sticking on and actually becoming customers of yours increases multifold.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So that's a very, very strong area. Another area, like you rightly mentioned, is social media marketing. Social media marketing, essentially, yes, while there are multiple channels and multiple tools, the crux of all of it is content. Right. What kind of content that you put in, which can attract audiences to your channel, your handle, your account, or whatever it is on whichever social media. And each social media platform behaves differently. Then you, as a content marketer, you also need to understand how they behave. What kind of user, same user on Instagram and on LinkedIn, they have different personas on different channels, right? And what kind of content appeals to them on LinkedIn may not be the content that the same person might look at on Instagram.
Correct.
There again, you need to have a very deep understanding of how those platforms work. What kind of users are there? What is the user behavior there? and then craft content. So content essentially becomes the secondary or tertiary step.
Okay.
The first, you cannot just start writing content for anything. You need to understand all of these questions, ask yourself those questions, ask your colleagues those questions, ask those managers the questions, and then come up with a clear problem statement in terms of what are we trying to achieve.
Okay.
And then look at what content is going to help us achieve that.
So summarizing it in a way, so marketing initially was driven a lot by outbound marketing, which more or less involved billboards, advertisements, cold calling, all of those stuff. Eventually, businesses and organizations realize that we need people to know about us slightly more organically, and it should not be a more forced conversation that is happening between the business and the customer / probable customer, but a more interest driven interaction between these two separate bodies. And that's where more or less content marketing came into picture, right? And obviously social media being another major vertical of it, CRM as you mentioned earlier. Is there anything else, any other sub function that you think within content marketing exists that's very important in terms of driving numbers for the organization, for the business? Anything else that you want
Absolutely.
to add?
There are a lot of areas. So for example, webinars.
Okay.
Webinar marketing is today a big, huge lever for growth in any organization.
Okay.
Because there you get accomplished leaders talking to each other and giving you the time which you would otherwise not get to understand about new topics, new disciplines that are coming out, how to get in those disciplines, etc. That's becoming a big area in both B2C and B2B, where you can actually get very interested users to look at, come and register for these webinars, attend these webinars, and then and have very strong takeaways that they can use in their career or in their life, personal or otherwise, right?
Okay.
Then there are probably PR. PR is a huge content marketing, probably a sister function of sorts.
Okay.
Right? Where PR has been there since time immemorial, since when organizations have been there, right?
Correct.
Right? But PR itself, as a content piece, behaves very differently than what you have on your website or on email, etc. Right? That's another very different skill set where a content marketer really needs to tune themselves to understand how does PR work.
Okay.
Media houses, how do they release articles? What kind of copy do they want?
Right.
Like, for example, some might look at clickbaity. Some might look at really sensationalizing news. Some might look at probably announcements and stuff like that, which is not the typical content that you write in marketing, so to speak.
Okay.
Right? In growth marketing or inbound marketing. So that's another area that we look at. Another area is product marketing.
Okay.
So today, products are getting launched left, right, and center. New companies are getting launched, etc. Right? And there, you need to understand, while the more technical professionals might be able to understand the product and might be able to create the product, it is on the content marketer to understand it from the user's perspective. What is the gap that you're trying to fill in the market? What is the user not having currently in the market that these products are going to give them?
Correct.
And then convert that into a messaging and positioning that the users understand.
Okay.
And simultaneously also reflects the strength, the positioning of the company itself, right?
Okay.
Then here again, product marketing, content marketers play the middle role.
Right.
Taking the idea from idea to a product to the market.
True.
Right? So go-to-market strategies, new product launches, all of those things, content marketing plays a very strong role.
Okay.
Advertising.
Okay.
Advertising, like social media, multiple platforms, multiple types of ads, etc. But what goes into all of them? Content.
True.
Right? And if you do not understand all of those strategies as to why we are having ad groups, why we are having specific campaigns going on, what kind of themes are we looking at, you're not going to create content that will appeal to those campaigns, right?
Okay.
So that's another area where content marketing plays a very strong role.
Okay.
SEO.
Okay.
SEO, while there are strategies, so SEO works on content, right?
True.
Yeah. So SEO is content, as in whether the keywords, the topics, etc. SEO is content.
Correct.
And then while the SEO manager needs to understand a lot of SEO best practices, if they have content marketing knowledge, if they have knowledge in terms of how those best practices relate to actually creating content, that person is going to stand out in the market. Same applies for a content marketer as well.
Okay.
The content marketer is actually looking at promoting their blogs or promoting a landing page. If they do not know SEO, their efforts are not going to give them the results that they're expecting. Right? So content marketing essentially plays a role in different aspects of marketing itself.
Okay.
In some aspects, it might play probably a tertiary or a peripheral role.
Okay.
Some aspects, it plays a very central role as well.
So what I've understood is marketing as a whole unit is segregated into various sub-functions. Product marketing, email marketing, CRM, SEO, social media, all of those things. And content marketing is not really something that falls outside of all of these, but it's more inside of all of these.
Correct.
For some, it can be a complete union of content marketing with, let's say, product marketing. For some, there might be some smaller so they can be imagined as two small circles. At some points, they will intersect, and for the remaining, there will be separate tasks that might be involved.
Absolutely.
For example, in product marketing, there can be content messaging and GTM strategy. What kind of words do you use to represent the organization that you are going to talk about? Apple, it sells itself using the word privacy. That's a positioning.
Correct.
That's a way how it represents itself in the market. That is content marketing, which is a part of product marketing.
Absolutely.
Right? So far, we have understood what is content marketing, what are the various sub-functions of content marketing and sister functions, so to speak, of content marketing, and marketing in as a whole unit in itself. A lot of our viewers, because it's a lot of information for them to consume in a very short span of time. What I would want to understand is, you head content marketing over here at Simplilearn. If someone wants to get into content marketing, should they be aware of all these functions? If yes, how is it possible? And if someone wants to get into content marketing and no, they don't need to be aware of everything about all these functions, then where should that person start? So imagine a graduate listening to you right now across the world, freshman student from US, Indian, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 college students who want to get into marketing, who have heard about content marketing, but they're not really sure where to start because, as you mentioned, so many variations within the marketing function, and content marketing kind of lying and sharing an intersection with all of these functions. Where should someone start?
Sure. So fundamentally speaking, while it's a very complicated question to answer because it really depends, like I said, on what business you're going to join, what kind of organization, how the hierarchy is. But the lowest common denominator would often be content writing.
Okay.
Right? If it's a graduate or a fresher who is joining a company, probably even after 2 years of experience or whatever, content writing would be the safest place to start.
Okay.
Because there you know that you have the fundamental skill set. Then, like you said, there are other things that you will have to learn. You don't need to have that expertise before jumping into content marketing, because content marketing, it as a profession itself, is continuously evolving. And it is being built based on experiences, as in it's built by professionals who, like I said, have gotten them involved in CRM, have gotten them involved in ad strategy, have gotten them involved in social media strategy, and learn what needs to be done. But their fundamental skill set still remaining content writing.
Okay.
They've used that knowledge to improve on what they're offering as a service to other teams, or as their jobs progress, moving it from content writing to content strategy, etc. And then that can actually be learned as you grow in your career. But the safest place to probably start is as a content writer. Okay. But having said that, it is not completely, the door is not shut off for people who do not write well.
Okay.
Right? While writing is a skill that you can definitely improve, there are other skills in content marketing that are also very transferable compared when you think of other job functions. Like, for example, problem solving. Right? It's very fundamental to a content marketer.
True.
Right? So if you have a product that's being launched, the engineering team or product team have created a product. You simultaneously need the ads team to run ads. You simultaneously need the email team to run emails, a PR to go out, blogs to be created on the website, videos to be created on your YouTube channel or on your landing pages, etc. Not all of those individuals might actually know all aspects of product marketing as a content marketer would know. So a product marketer, perhaps with the penchant for content marketing or content creation or understanding communication, might actually be able to move into content marketing and be the central point.
Okay.
Right? So there are different entry points to content marketing. It is really not a science.
Okay.
It's plainly depending on your interest, your attitude, and the fact that you have to take initiative. So if you have to do something transformative, like moving in from some other discipline into content marketing, whether you're a fresher or you have 5-6 years of experience in some other discipline and you want to move into content marketing, that extra initiative needs to be taken.
Okay.
It's challenging, but it's equally rewarding as well.
You mentioned content writer, and obviously there are other ways to move into. There are people who can start from quality analyst. There are people who can start from associate SEO expert. Maybe, I mean, the job title can change, but the kind of spectrum of work revolves around, okay, you start working on SEO and then slowly and steadily you grow.
Absolutely.
And then you decide, okay, I want to continue into SEO and take that as a lifelong career, or I also want to imbibe other skills. So let's say, for example, from social, then you imbibe product skills. And eventually when you culminate enough skill, problem solving skills, then you eventually become someone who is a more, so to speak, generic content marketer who has specialized skills in all these smaller sub-functions.
Absolutely.
Be it SEO, be it product marketing, all of those things.
I would call it holistic.
A more holistic role. True. One question that's kind of piquing my interest right now is, for a lot of organizations, because I've seen it on LinkedIn, I've seen it on a lot of hiring websites, I've seen it on a lot of blogs as well. These specific roles have gotten a lot of traction very recently. Specifically speaking, product marketing. Because I know marketing has existed for a long time, but for some reason, product management, product marketing, or GTM strategist as an individual role has kind of gotten a lot of traction in organizations worldwide. What I wanted to know from that was, what if someone is interested in only one particular sub-function, product marketing, SEO, social media, what kind of career growth, what kind of secure future exists for people who don't want to venture into other disciplines, but just want to continue into one field. For example, product marketing. So you start as a content writer, maybe you move on to understanding some things about marketing, you take initiatives, get into associate product marketing manager role, or some kind of associate role, and then you want to continue further in that. Is that a good choice to go in that direction, or it's always better to add on skills from all these other sub-functions like SEO, all of those things, and then become a more holistic content marketer? What would you suggest to people?
So the adding skills to a repertoire is definitely going to help you.
Okay.
But then again, even for a content marketer, prioritization becomes important.
True.
You cannot be the best at everything.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to be the best. I mean, you need to find your path. You need to find what you're interested in. What you're interested in, what you're best at, and what will really make your career.
Not riding multiple boats at the same time.
Absolutely. And then find that out and essentially ensure that you become an expert in the areas.
Okay.
But in order to be the expert, you also need knowledge in other areas.
Okay.
Right? I mean, for example, product marketer. Mm-hmm. They're essentially a different version of a content marketer.
True.
Right? So it's just that they have probably a better knowledge set about engineering or how products are designed, etc., UI, UX, and design, etc., which they then try to focus on, while they still have fundamental skills of how communication is done, how user personas are created, how products are mapped to those user personas, etc., which are essentially very synonymous to what content marketers do as well on the marketing side of things.
Correct.
Right? So here again, so the more you grow in your career, you tend to become a holistic marketer. Mm-hmm. That is the only way you grow.
Okay.
If you stick to your own discipline and not care about learning about other things, you will not end up growing. You will end up growing to a particular stage after which you will find saturation. Okay. Because as you grow, you are expected to take up larger portfolios.
Correct.
You're expected to understand very diverse problem statements that may not only deal with your discipline,
okay,
but are also related to other disciplines as well.
Okay.
And hence you will require to understand what the other disciplines do,
okay,
what their problem statements are, how they work, and how you can contribute to those problem statements, etc.
Okay.
So as you grow, the holistic marketer becomes an experienced marketer.
Kind of a tricky question for you now, but before the tricky question, what I want to understand is, you mentioned 14 years of experience. You mentioned so many things. The kind of expertise that you have brought in for our viewers right now is fabulous. What I want to know now is, what was Kartik's journey? Did he start as a content writer? Did he start as an SEO guy? I mean, you are heading content marketing here, and you have such, well-researched, well-experienced knowledge on these functions of marketing. Where did you start from? What was your first job role?
Absolutely.
How did you grow and then, eventually becoming the content marketing head at Simplilearn?
Absolutely. So I'm an engineer with a marketing degree.
Same.
And a marketing degree, MBA marketing degree in IIT Roorkee. After which I did some field marketing just to understand. So I was very clear on what I wanted from marketing. As in, when I wanted to step into marketing, I really wanted to first understand some feet on the ground marketing to really get to know who am I selling it to, who are my stakeholders.
Okay.
So there, I was very lucky enough to get a field marketing role with a building materials company where I got to interact with various different type of stakeholders like architects, consultants, and very interesting people.
Interesting.
Yeah, they have their own perspectives, they have their own knowledge and the expertise they bring into, like for example, marketing. A building itself is very complicated, right? So you have multiple stakeholders, and there you have multiple consultants, and then interacting with them. Understanding what their problem statements are, understanding why they want particular products, etc., was very, very enlightening for me. But all throughout my journey, right from childhood, I've had a very passion for writing, very strong passion for writing.
Okay.
So whether it be college or school, etc., I was always writing for our newsletters and so on. The next was, like I said, I finally decided that, all right, but like I said, I prioritized and said, content creation is something that I'm it's very dear to me.
Okay.
Let me see whether I can get a career out of it.
You chose, you put on your visors and you were like, okay, I want to focus on this. Okay.
Because when I'm communicating with people, I also understand that written content does have a very strong place in marketing and communications, right? And that's where, if you are really strong at it, you prioritize, you focus on that and ensure that you make a career out of it, or probably you build something out of it. So I started doing something on my own, freelance for a while, wrote a few websites and so on. Then finally decided, okay, fine, I'm going to make this into a full-time career.
Okay.
Started writing again, quickly grew into a managerial level where I was managing a team of 60 people, writing content and so on. Grew up to become an account manager in a digital marketing firm where I was handling, as an agency representative, I was handling users or companies from all over the world.
Okay.
Cybersecurity, digital marketing, and this was a time when all these so-called disciplines were coming up.
Right.
So a lot of new things to learn.
Right.
And how they were communicating to you, how each company communicated their product persona or the positioning was very, very different.
Correct.
While the products were very similar.
Correct.
That also kind of ignited my intrigue in terms of how are we going to distinguish each of these.
Correct.
And that's where my role as a content writer or a communication specialist comes in.
Right.
Then that evolved into becoming a content marketer, because back then content marketing itself as a term was very loosely used.
Right.
Some even content writers or typically who write just content and not think about what happens after that. That is also a content marketing role itself, right? So then it evolved. Then I decided to actually build a digital marketing team at an agency where we had built email marketing teams, SEO teams, design team, and so on. Nice. Exciting journey for about 3.5 years.
Okay.
Then I finally got the opportunity to come to Simplilearn 2019. Here again, it was building from scratch. We were at a high growth pace. We had very, very clear goals in terms of what we wanted to achieve, how we wanted to go, who our audiences, etc. And we were given very clear guidance in terms of what needed to be done. The task was to create a very strong, solid team in content marketing who, like I said, understood different aspects of marketing and who could be the central spoke in marketing itself.
Okay.
It's been an amazing 5-year journey where worked with amazing teams across marketing, vendors, external, internal stakeholders.
Right.
And it's been going very, very well.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. 2 questions from that. First, the tricky question. If you had to choose the 3 best sub-functions that you have worked ever in your last 14 years, product marketing and SEO and all of those things, what would you choose? Who were the 3 best sub-functions?
I would probably replace the best with what I like, what I felt passionate about. Perhaps would be product, email marketing, and perhaps brand marketing. Right? So innately, I would consider myself a creative person, and these are areas where my creativity has different outlets. Right? If it is to create a product or probably envision how the product would be kind of communicated to the audience, or how we can nurture multiple millions of users that are using your product, or perhaps even give visibility for your company or your brand to brand marketing. Those are things that are amazingly creative for me, and I'm very passionate about all those things.
Second question, you mentioned you did an MBA.
Correct.
How important do you think an MBA is? And not in the perspective of, you do an MBA from a tier 1 college IIMs, Ivy Leagues, and then you end up getting crores of salary. Not really from that perspective, but from a career growth perspective, the kind of organizations that you get the opportunity to work with once you have done an MBA from a very good college. Is it, mutually exclusive that people from a certain set of MBA colleges will be, kind of prioritized over people not from those MBA colleges or not non-MBA, candidates? Is that true? There's a lot of rumor out there. People think, okay, you do engineering and then you do MBA and then you get into these top firms. Is it true that there is slight inclination towards people from these set of colleges? And if you can just expand on whether people should choose MBA as a career path or not.
I mean, you definitely can't generalize that answer.
Okay.
I cannot probably say that if you do your MBA from a particular college, you will definitely get a job anywhere in the world.
Okay.
It really depends upon who you are and how you applied those skills that you learned during the MBA, how you've actually evolved yourself as a professional.
So that MBA degree will not get me a Ferrari, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, it
might. There's no surety.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. But it always depends upon, so for example, it's also on the skill set that you have and what your the job role that you're applying to.
Okay.
So it might just happen that the college that you had, the MBA institute that you had completed your MBA from has given all the skill sets and you're able to use it. Great, good for you. You're going to get an amazing job. But you're going to be, if you are thinking that just the degree is going to help you, it will not. It might help you for a few years. After that, you will have to realize that you're on your own.
For the beginners, the first time viewers probably, no, you don't need to be an expert. No, you don't need to have an MBA degree. It's not necessary. Good to have, but it's not necessary. And it's not just one role that you want to kind of focus on. You can start taking up additional responsibilities and then kind of build your skills upon that as your interest grows in that field. Okay, so we have kind of reached towards the end of our podcast. One critical thing that I wanted to talk about, which you mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, AI and generative AI. What's happening there? Are we getting thrown out of jobs? Is it true? Is it not? What's happening? And if you can just spend 2 minutes on telling us about why does Google hate SEO people? What is happening over there? Everyone is sad. No one knows what's happening.
Yeah, true.
So just those two things.
I mean, AI, if you look at it, so it's like any other disruption in the industry, right?
Okay.
So it has really pushed us as professionals already in the industry to reevaluate in terms of where our skill set lie.
Okay.
Right. So AI is only, you can think of it as something that will threaten your job.
Okay.
Or you can think of it as something that enables your job.
Okay.
Right. I choose to think of it as an enabler.
Okay.
And I strongly believe that only people who think of it as an enabler will get through this AI storm. Right. Whether it be on content creation or looking at how AI can actually help you enhance marketing. So take Google, for example. Right? Google started using AI in search engines before AI became a thing. Right? Their algorithms were running on probably partially or whatever extent they were already running on AI. Right?
True.
It was never advertised. Correct. Right? So AI has been a thing in marketing for such a long time. Right? And if you look at it, a lot of technological disruptions that have happened, a lot of them have actually come through marketing problem statements. Whether it be use of, say, automation and RPA in marketing automation, right? Whether it be personalization of content, converting text to audio, text to video, and so on, right? So that's also, if everybody actually thought that, hey, my job is going to be in trouble because this new technology is going to come in, our marketing industry would have died very soon.
I mean, there are tech giants who are built solely on marketing automation.
Absolutely.
Their SaaS products are literally marketing automation tools.
Absolutely.
So that is true. What about Google's love-hate relationship?
So I would like to think that Google loves users more than SEO experts.
Okay.
So that's the only way I can sleep at night.
Okay.
Because if I thought that they didn't like SEO expert, then my job also would be in trouble.
True. Okay.
So I like to think that Google is trying its best to kind of ensure that it gives the users the best experience.
Okay.
So where again it's challenging us as SEO/content experts to understand what is the right experience that we should be giving the audiences that Google also likes.
Right.
Is a challenge that we're trying to solve right now.
Right.
Earlier, probably it did not do this explicitly, but the last few years, it's made its intention very clear.
Mm-hmm.
You become customer centric, you become user first, you will win this game.
Right. Awesome, Kartik. Thank you so much for giving us your time. It was amazing, very enriching, very informative conversation that I had with you. Any parting words to our viewers interested in marketing, content marketing, anything you would like to say?
Absolutely. Thank you, Rishabh, first of all, for this opportunity. It's wonderful talking to you. And to the audience, I just want to say, keep learning. So I think marketing or content marketing or any discipline itself, you can only thrive with learning, right? So things are going to change at a pace at which it's never changed earlier. If you think right now it's changing fast, a few years later, you would probably forget the pace at which we are changing right now. And the only way to stay relevant, only way to stay ahead of this game is to learn. So keep learning, keep your eyes and ears open, and definitely you're going to find your opportunity to grow.
Right. So, and if you have any further questions, you can find Kartik on LinkedIn. And if you want to learn content marketing, SEO, and digital marketing, you always have Simplilearn's courses. You can join them, learn, upskill, and end up like Kartik, 14 years of experience, an MBA degree. Thank you so much for joining.
Rishabh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.